The unexpected bond. The twin sons of Haven's Edge painted the morning sky in shades of amber and rose as Kira pressed her three-fingered hand against the workshop window. Her silver skin caught the light, creating patterns that danced across the cluttered workbench where her grandfather Marcus was already hunched over blueprints, his weathered human hand sketching modifications to their latest project. "Morning, sunshine," Marcus called without looking up, using the nickname he'd given her when she first arrived on this frontier world 5 years ago. At 12 years old, she had been just another refugee from the Zephyrian exodus, but Marcus saw something special in the quiet girl with the luminous purple eyes. Kira moved to his side, her movements fluid and graceful, in a way that still amazed Marcus after all these years. The Zephyrians were natural engineers. Their bodies evolved for precision work, but Kira possessed something even rarer, an intuitive understanding of how different technologies could work together. "The calculations are wrong," she said softly, pointing to a section of the blueprint. "The resonance frequency will create interference with the atmospheric processors." Marcus chuckled, setting down his pencil. "You're right, as usual. Your people's understanding of energy dynamics puts us humans to shame." He made the corrections, his movements careful and deliberate. "But that's why we make a good team. Your tech knowledge and my stubborn human engineering." Their project had started simple enough. An observation tower where Kira could study the star patterns she missed from her homeworld. But as they worked together over the past 3 months, it had evolved into something magnificent. The tower combined human architectural principles with Zephyrian crystalline technology, creating a structure that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. Marcus had taught Kira traditional Earth construction methods, how to set foundations that would last centuries, how to balance load-bearing walls, how to create beauty through function. In return, Kira showed him how Zephyrian crystals could amplify and focus energy, how their bioluminescent panels could power systems using ambient starlight, how their gravity manipulation technology could make impossible structures stable. The tower stood 30 feet tall in their backyard, its base a solid pyramid of locally quarried stone that Marcus had taught Kira to cut and fit with precision. Rising from this foundation, spiraling bands of Zephyrian crystal created a delicate lattice that supported observation platforms at 3 different levels. The whole structure hummed with a gentle frequency that seemed to harmonize with the planet's magnetic field. "Today we install the final component," Marcus said, gesturing to a device sitting on the workbench. It looked like a fusion of human and alien technology. A telescope housing built from earth metals surrounding a Zephyrian focusing crystal the size of a child's head. Kira's eyes widened. "Grandfather, that crystal. It's a Class 7 amplifier. Where did you get it?" Marcus smiled mysteriously. "I have my sources. Besides, nothing's too good for my granddaughter's dream project." They spent the morning carefully installing the device at the tower's peak. Marcus climbed with the steady confidence of someone who'd spent decades building skyscrapers on Earth, while Kira seemed to dance up the crystal lattice, her natural grace making the ascent look effortless. As they worked, Marcus told stories of the great buildings he'd designed on Earth. Towers that scraped the clouds, bridges that spanned vast canyons, homes that withstood centuries of weather. Kira shared memories of her homeworld's living architecture, buildings that grew from seeds and shaped themselves according to their inhabitants' needs. "The best structures," Marcus said as they secured the final connections, "aren't just about engineering. They're about bringing people together, creating spaces where life can flourish." Kira nodded, understanding. "On Zephyr Prime, we say that buildings have souls. They remember the love that built them." As the afternoon sun began to set, they activated the tower for the first time. The crystals began to glow with soft blue light, and the focusing array slowly turned toward the stars. Through the telescope, Kira could see distant galaxies with clarity that took her breath away. "It's perfect," she whispered, tears of joy streaming down her silver cheeks. Marcus put his arm around her shoulders. "We did good work, kiddo. Your parents would be proud." That night, Kira insisted on sleeping in the tower's middle platform, just as she used to sleep under the stars on her homeworld. Marcus checked on her twice, finding her curled up peacefully with the cosmic light playing across her face. He woke at dawn to the sound of Kira screaming. Marcus bolted from the house to find his granddaughter standing in the middle of their backyard, staring at empty space where their tower had been. Not a trace remained. No rubble, no crystal fragments, no burn marks on the ground. Even the foundation stones had vanished completely, leaving only a perfect circle of bare earth. Kira was shaking, her purple eyes wide with shock. It was here, grandfather. It was here, and now it's gone. Marcus knelt beside the empty circle, running his hands through the dirt. The soil was warm, almost fever-hot, and tiny sparkles of what looked like crystallized energy were scattered throughout. "This isn't normal," he muttered. "Structures don't just disappear." "The readings," Kira said suddenly, pulling out her handheld scanner. "Look at these energy signatures." The device was displaying patterns Marcus had never seen before, waves of exotic radiation that seemed to pulse in complex rhythms. "What does it mean?" Kira's face was pale. "These frequencies, they're not from any known technology. They're almost like—" She paused, checking the readings again. "Like a communication signal." Communication? Who would be trying to communicate? Before Kira could answer, her scanner began beeping frantically. New signals were appearing, stronger and more complex than before. The patterns were definitely artificial, too organized to be natural phenomena. "Grandfather," Kira whispered, her voice filled with wonder and fear. "I think our tower was sending a message, and now someone is answering." Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Their beautiful observation tower, built with love and hope, had apparently been broadcasting across the galaxy. The question was, who had been listening? As they stood in the empty circle where their creation had been, watching Kira's scanner detect increasingly complex signals from deep space, Marcus realized their simple building project had somehow opened a door between worlds. And now something was coming through. The morning sun climbed higher, but the warmth couldn't chase away the cold fear growing in Marcus's chest. Their tower was gone, but its purpose was just beginning to unfold. Whatever they had accidentally created, whatever message they had sent into the void, the response was already on its way to Haven's Edge. Kira gripped her grandfather's hand tightly. "What have we done?" Marcus squeezed back, his engineer's mind already working on solutions. "I don't know, sunshine. But whatever happens next, we'll face it together." The signals continued to grow stronger, and somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, something was heading toward their small frontier world with purpose and determination. The bridge between worlds had been built, and now they would discover what waited on the other side. Part 2. The Signal's Truth. 3 days after the tower's disappearance, Haven's Edge colony buzzed with nervous energy. Reports of strange lights in the sky and unexplained electromagnetic disturbances had reached the Colonial Authority, and survey teams were combing every inch of Marcus and Kira's property. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the colony's chief scientist, set up her equipment in their backyard, while Marcus watched protectively over Kira. His granddaughter hadn't slept properly since the incident, spending every waking moment analyzing the signals that continued to pour in from space. "The energy readings are off the charts," Dr. Vasquez announced, frowning at her instruments. "Whatever happened here released more power than our entire colony grid produces in a month." Kira looked up from her own scanner, exhaustion evident in her purple eyes. "The signals are getting stronger and more organized. Look at this pattern." She displayed the latest readings on her portable screen. The signals had evolved from simple pulses into complex mathematical sequences, prime numbers, geometric progressions, even what appeared to be star charts. "It's definitely artificial intelligence," Dr. Vasquez confirmed. "But the source is moving fast. Our deep space monitors calculate it's crossing interstellar distances at impossible speeds." Marcus felt his protective instincts flare. Is it heading here? Estimated arrival in 72 hours, Dr. Vasquez replied grimly. That evening, after the scientists had packed up their equipment and left, Marcus found Kira sitting alone in the workshop, staring at a holographic display of the incoming signals. The patterns danced in the air like living creatures, beautiful and alien. Talk to me, sunshine, Marcus said gently, settling into a chair beside her. What aren't you telling them? Kira was quiet for a long moment, then gestured to the display. These mathematical sequences, they're not random. They're teaching patterns. The same methods Zephyrian parents use to educate their children. Marcus felt his breath catch. You think it's from your people. Not just any people, she whispered. These specific patterns. I remember them. From before the evacuation, my birth mother used to trace these equations on my palm when I couldn't sleep. The implications hit Marcus like a physical blow. Your family is out there. They've been looking for you. Tears began streaming down Kira's silver cheeks. When the Zephyrian homeworld was destroyed, the evacuation ships scattered across the galaxy. Families were separated. I always hoped, but I never thought they'd find me. Marcus pulled her into a hug, his heart breaking for the pain she carried alone. The tower. It was never just an observation platform, was it? I don't think I consciously knew, Kira said. But something inside me, some genetic memory or instinct, guided the design. The crystal frequencies, the focusing array, even the height calculations. It was all optimized to broadcast a specific type of signal across interstellar distances. A beacon, Marcus realized. You built a come-home beacon. We built it together, Kira corrected. The human engineering principles provided the stability and power amplification. Without your knowledge, the signal never would have been strong enough to reach across the galaxy. The next morning brought confirmation of their theory. The incoming vessel had responded to a handshake protocol transmitted from Haven's Edge, a series of mathematical concepts that only someone who knew Kira personally could have answered correctly. But with confirmation came a terrible choice. Dr. Vasquez delivered the news with diplomatic gentleness, but the message was clear. The approaching ship was a Zephyrian family vessel, and they were coming to collect their lost daughter. They have legal claim, the colony administrator explained during an emergency meeting. Intergalactic law recognizes biological family rights over adoption arrangements. Marcus felt his world crumbling. She's been my granddaughter for 5 years. This is her home. I understand, Mr. Chen, but the Zephyrian delegation has already filed the necessary paperwork. Unless Kira chooses to remain voluntarily, all eyes turned to Kira, who sat silently between Marcus and the officials. Her young face was torn between joy at the prospect of reuniting with her birth family and anguish at the thought of leaving the grandfather who had given her a new life. I need time, she said finally, to think, to decide. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He walked through the house, remembering 5 years of shared moments. Teaching Kira to ride a bicycle, helping her with homework, celebrating her first successful engineering project. She had become the daughter he'd never had, filling the loneliness that had consumed him since his wife's death. He found Kira in the workshop, working frantically on something he didn't recognize. Her hands moved with desperate precision, combining human circuitry with Zephyrian crystal technology. What are you building? He asked. A solution, she said without looking up. I can't choose between two families, so I'm going to make it so I don't have to. Marcus watched as she assembled what appeared to be a communication array, more sophisticated than anything he'd ever seen. What does it do? It creates a permanent quantum entanglement link, Kira explained, her voice growing excited. If we can establish a stable connection between Haven's Edge and the Zephyrian ship, distance becomes irrelevant. Real-time communication across any span of space. Marcus began to understand. You want to stay connected to both families. More than that, Kira said, her purple eyes blazing with inspiration. I want to create something that can help other separated families find each other. A network that spans the galaxy, connecting refugees and lost children with their loved ones. They worked through the night, combining Marcus's knowledge of power systems and signal amplification with Kira's understanding of quantum mechanics and crystal resonance. The device that emerged was beautiful, a sculpture of flowing metal and glowing crystals that hummed with contained energy. When the Zephyrian ship arrived the next day, descending through Haven's Edge's atmosphere like a living jewel, Marcus and Kira were ready. The reunion was emotional beyond words. Kira's birth parents, Zara and Thyman, were elegant beings who moved with the same fluid grace as their daughter. They held Kira close, speaking in musical tones that made her weep with joy. But when they prepared to depart, Kira activated the communication array. "I found a third option," she announced to both families. "I don't have to choose between you. I can belong to both worlds." The array blazed to life, creating a stable quantum tunnel between the ship and the planet's surface. Through the shimmering portal, the two families could see each other clearly, communicate in real time, and share their lives despite the vast distances of space. "It's impossible," Dr. Vasquez breathed. "Quantum entanglement on this scale shouldn't be sustainable." "Human engineering and Zephyrian knowledge," Marcus said proudly. "Working together, we can do impossible things." Over the following weeks, the implications became clear. Kira's invention could revolutionize interstellar communication, reunite scattered families across the galaxy, and create bonds between species that had never existed before. The Colonial Authority designated Haven's Edge as the first interstellar communication hub. Kira split her time between the planet and her family ship, learning about her heritage while continuing to work with Marcus on expanding their network. "You know what the best part is?" Marcus asked one evening as they watched the stars together through their new, improved observation platform. "What's that, grandfather?" "We didn't just build a tower or a communication device. We built a bridge between worlds, a way for families to stay connected no matter how far apart they are." Kira smiled, her silver skin glowing in the starlight. "And it all started with a simple idea, creating a place where we could look at the stars together." As they worked late into the night, expanding their network to reach other star systems and help more separated families reconnect, Marcus realized that their greatest creation wasn't technological. It was the proof that love transcends species, distance, and time itself. The bridge between worlds was complete, and it would span the galaxy for generations to come.